Good evening and many thanks for joining us. You're watching QTV News and we're broadcasting live from our studios on Carver Avenue. First, here are the main news headlines. A team from the International Monetary Fund currently in the country organized a joint press briefing with the Ministry of Finance and the Central Bank of the Gambia to discuss the Gambia's economic program for the year 2022. The Ministry of Health and stakeholders met on Tuesday for the selection and development of a health benefit package for the implementation of the Gambia's National Health Insurance Scheme. And the World Animal Day, observed annually on October 4th to raise awareness about animal welfare, was celebrated by the Gambia Horse and Donkey Trust and other animal welfare partners. The Kofi Annan International Peacekeeping Training Center and the Gambia Police Force on Friday concluded training for the Criminal Justice Executive course. And in sports news, the Q Group sponsored football tournament in Basse District has reached the semi-finals, and we bring you results from the two matches. Well, for more on these and other stories coming up, I'm Ansmane Sonyase. Those were our main headlines, and now we take a look at the news in detail. A team from the International Monetary Fund, currently in the country, organized a joint press briefing with the Ministry of Finance and the Central Bank of the Gambia on Tuesday to share and discuss the mission's findings on the fifth review of the Gambia's economic program for 2022. Loliam Kamara tells us more.
Shortly after a closed-door meeting with officials from the Ministry of Finance and the Central Bank of the Gambia, the IMF's head of mission, Mr. Rasafima Hefa, explained that a review is conducted every 6 months. He shared some of IMF's interventions.
So we first analyze the evolution of the economy in the country, and then we assess the performance under the program, and lastly, we agree on policies to be implemented for the next 6 months or 1 year.
In terms of assessment of the country's economy, IMF's head of mission said it has improved, but not as had been expected.
We see that the number of tourists arriving in the Gambia is rebounding compared to the pandemic period, but it's not back to the level before the pandemic yet. And we see that the construction activity is staying robust. We see also that the agricultural production is also expected to be strong despite the flood that the country has seen recently.
Mr. Rasafima Hefa reveals that the Gambian government is taking measures to address inflation, and the strategies include addressing the tax collection, amongst other things.
As I mentioned earlier, we look at the economic activity, we look at inflation, we look also at some other issues, the foreign exchange. On inflation is accelerating, and I think we all know that. Unfortunately, the drivers or the main reasons of this accelerating inflation is outside the Gambia, mainly because of the increase in global fuel price and the global food price, mostly due to the war in Ukraine. So it is unfortunate that the Gambia is facing inflation that is not because of reasons from the Gambia, but because of reasons from outside the Gambia.
Momadou Bari, the IMF's resident representative in the Gambia, highlighted some of the recommendations made by the mission.
Effort need to be continued in terms of mobilizing more resources from the tax administration, but other also agencies that is in charge of collecting revenues. We need to prioritize spending to ensure that the resources that are now rare are better utilized in terms of addressing the challenges that the country is facing. Some other recommendations also we had, particularly with the central bank, is to work toward ensuring that we have ample effects in the country, and that will require ensuring that all the players in the market are working at the same level playing field.
This program has been going on since 2020, and with the strong commitment from the government, the team has been able to make significant progress on the financial and economic policies that supported the completion of the fourth review. For QTV News, Lolly M. Kamara.
Now, the Ministry of Health and stakeholders on Tuesday met for the selection and development of a health benefit package for the implementation of the Gambia's National Health Insurance Scheme. Mahmoud Lamin Choi has more.
It is a convergence of health experts and relevant stakeholders organized by the Health Ministry to develop the health benefit package for the implementation of the Gambia's planned National Health Insurance Scheme. Given the limited resources of low-income countries like the Gambia, not all health interventions can be catered for in a National Health Insurance Scheme. As such, a health benefit package is a necessity to identify, define and prioritize health interventions. Dr. Desta A. Tironi is the WHO country representative in the Gambia.
So my advice is actually for you colleagues to start small and expand gradually as our capacity gets better and better, because resource envelope is limited. There is a limit.
The National Health Insurance Scheme will provide for universal access to equitable and quality healthcare services for every resident in the Gambia who is a member of the scheme. Every member pays an annual contribution to be determined by the National Health Insurance Board, of which Dr. Melville O. George is the chairman.
When people pay a premium for certain things, they expect services to be delivered. People will demand for services. People will demand for quality. People will complain on the press. People will go onto the internet, they will write and talk about it.
Apart from annual membership contributions, the National Health Insurance Scheme is to be funded from donor support, revenue generation sources, and budgetary allocations. With 3,000 to 4,000 health interventions, setting out priority areas is a target for sustainability. Dr. Mustafa Bite is the Director of Health Services.
Based on those resources we are going to get, we are going to say, and what we government other inputs from government, because government is giving this and is giving other inputs, then partners are also giving. So we look at all that, then we select, based on that, what we have, the resources we have, which interventions are the most impactful. So those are the ones that are going to be selected.
Quality assurance is key for a national health insurance scheme that is open to healthcare service providers from both public and private health facilities. This means members of the National Health Insurance Scheme can have freedom of choice of healthcare service delivery. Dr. Ahmadu Lamin Samade is the Health Minister.
I think that choice is important, but that means those who are running the public facilities, you must be competitive. Otherwise, the resources that you are going to also get from the insurance scheme will not come. And as time goes on, because you're going to be getting resources from the insurance scheme, government probably will reduce the subvention to your facilities to make you work for actually what you are going to get. And I think this is good, because at the end of the day, the people of this country get the best of services.
A larger consultative forum for the development of the health benefit package is scheduled to be hosted by the Health Ministry, involving health experts and more stakeholders to determine the criteria to select the priority health interventions. Following this will be validation by stakeholders and presentation of a document for Cabinet's consideration. Mahmoud Lamin Choi, QTV News.
World Animal Day is observed annually on October 4th to raise awareness about animal welfare across the globe. This year, the event is being celebrated by the Gambia Horse and Donkey Trust and other animal welfare partners. Ajmintu Drame attended and filed in this report.
Why the cruelty? There is no humanity. At least have a little sanity, 'cause they also get feelings too.
Animals have played a significant role in the lives of humans for centuries. They not only provide support and enrich our lives, but also give companionship. World Animal Day is a reminder for people to love animals and to appreciate and respect all living things that are part of our ecosystem. We use animals as food, transportation, security, and they work for us, among other benefits. This year, the event is celebrated on the theme Shared Planet, which signifies that the world belongs to every living creature and not just humans. Heather Armstrong, the director of Gambia Horse and Donkey Trust, commends animal advocates for the good work they have been doing in raising awareness of animal health.
Hopefully through the university and the college, the standards of training will improve so that the quality of care that the livestock assistants can give will also improve. This facility was built for the Gambia and Gambians, and I hope if in any way at all we can help in the training of young people to help animals, you're all highly welcome.
Professor Sidat Yafa, Dean of the School of Agriculture and Environmental Science at the UTG, assures the gathering, especially students, that the UTG will introduce veterinary science in the school curriculum next year.
The young folks who are here, you get ready in 2023, all you need is just 5 credits. And the science, of course, but we are reviewing the admission requirements also so that we can recruit as many students as possible, especially in the animal science areas. That's our top priority for the next 5 years.
Emmanuel W. Mendy, Deputy Director General of Animal Production at the Department of Livestock Services, emphasized the need to collaborate to achieve animal welfare goals. As the world evolves and faces unprecedented biodiversity challenges, Dr. Keba Dafe, advisor to Animal Welfare Advocates Association of the Gambia, explains animal health and welfare issues in the country.
It was a cow in Lower River region that was encalving, that is, it was given birth, and it was consumed by bushfire in the middle of giving birth. Bushfires destroy the habitat of wildlife. On World Animal Day, we are talking about the welfare of all species of animals, including wildlife. We have cut down all the big trees and exported them, and our country is now changing. Deforestation is a threat to animal welfare, human well-being, and environmental sustainability.
World Animal Day is a global initiative for animal rights that aims to ensure improved standards for animal welfare and to educate people against animal cruelty and to teach how to rescue them. The celebration ended with some comedy on animal knowledge and welfare, poem recitation, music, and the presentation of prizes on essays and pictures from various schools on the subject of animal welfare. The animal advocates appeal to the public to respect and be kind to animals. Ajibintu Drame, QTV News.
And a report there by Ajibintu Drame will lead us to the commercial break, but the news continues when we return.
Bank from here and there and here too. Here and even here. Introducing the Bloom Digital Suite from Bloom Bank Africa. Web and mobile banking that allows you to bank on the go at your convenience and on your own terms. Check and transfer funds, pay NAWIC bills, buy cash power, buy mobile credit, and so much more. For more information, visit www.bloombankafrica.com or pass by any of our branches nationwide. Download from the Apple Store and the Google Play Store. Bloom Digital Web and Mobile Banking on the go from Bloom Bank Africa.
It is the first edition of the West African Micro, Small and Medium Enterprise Exhibition WAMSME between the Gambia and Nigeria. The sub-regional event will be held at the National Trade Fair grounds around Brusubi Turntable from the 12th to 20th October 2022. Products to be exhibited are strictly made in the Gambia and Nigeria and will include foods and condiments, art and craft, pharmaceuticals, agricultural commodities, cosmetics, leather and leather products, footwear, electrical cables, garments and apparel confectionaries, spices, solid minerals, chemicals, amongst others. This platform is facilitated by the Gambia Investment and Export Promotion Agency, GAIPA, the Nigerian High Commission in the Gambia, and is proudly funded by the Small and Medium Enterprises Development Agency of Nigeria, SMEDAN, and the Nigerian Export Promotion Council, NEPC. Renowned Gambian and Nigerian artists will also perform at the fair. Come one, come all.
LG Think You. Yup. Thanks to LG Think You, I can operate and get cycle updates from my AIDD front-load washing machine without even stepping foot in the laundry room. I can be busy with rehearsals on a conference call and still do my laundry, or watching series glued to my couch and too lazy to get up. My life made easy with LG Think You.
Welcome back. We remind that you're following QTV News and we're broadcasting live from our studios on Kairaba Avenue. Now, the Kofi Annan International Peacekeeping Training Center and the Gambia Police Force on Friday concluded training for the second cohort of the Criminal Justice Executives course. Lena E. Igwenyiba has the rest of that story.
The Kofi Annan International Peacekeeping Training Center, KAIPTC, is one of the 3 peacekeeping training centers of excellence, mandated by the ECOWAS to offer training in peacekeeping and peace support operations in Africa. The internationally recognized institution has trained over 160 senior police commanders and supervisors in the Gambia. Mamadou Sow, Deputy Inspector General of Police, speaking on behalf of the Inspector General of Police, congratulated the participants for successfully completing the 5-day course, which covered a range of teaching modules.
I wish you to congratulate yourself, and we congratulate all of you for relentlessly and with all your efforts, with due diligence, you've managed to excel to this day, which is the final closing day of this chapter. I've also been reliably informed that the training course covered a range of teaching modules, from strategic leadership, law enforcement, professionalism, police investigations, and the list goes on.
Usman A. Razak, the course director, delivers a statement on behalf of the commandant of KAIPTC, expressing appreciation to the Inspector General of Police and urged participants to uphold teamwork and make good use of the networks established.
I therefore urge you to work diligently as a team towards the betterment of the criminal justice system of the Gambia, and I suggest, as it is in my opening speech, that you keep the networks you have established during this course. My profound appreciation goes to the Inspector General of Police of the Gambian Police Force.
Cadent ASP Amina Tabari, a participant, thanked the KAIPTC and partners on behalf of her colleagues for a great initiative.
I would like to thank the Kofi Annan International Peacekeeping Training Center on behalf of all of us sitting here. As the saying goes, gratitude is when memory is stored in the heart and not the mind. I also would like to thank ACP Razak, whose leadership and vision steered this program, and to his amazing team. It was always a pleasure coming to this training every morning with such lovely and engaging people. Your Worship, Aissatou Dabo, Principal Magistrate, and her land colleagues, for their enormous contribution towards the success and better understanding of the criminal justice. I further thank our coordinators from the planning unit for this excellent initiative. On behalf of the participants, be rest assured that the knowledge gained during this training would be put into practice.
Implemented by the KAIPTC, the training, which is funded by the German Foreign Ministry, gave participants in-depth knowledge of criminal justice to enhance capacity and ensure efficient, effective, and responsive governance. Reporting for QTV News, I am Lena E. Gwenyiba.
And we now have a look at some exciting sports news in a moment. So the Q Group-sponsored football tournament in Basse District has reached the semi-final stages. Manju FC and Gambisara United locked horns to battle for a spot in the finals at the Bassa Mini Stadium. Alaji A.F. Jallo reports.
The semi-finals of the Q Group sponsored football tournament started during weekend. The two giants, Manju FC from Fuladu East District and Gambisara United from Jimara District, faced each other hoping to secure a place in the finals. Football fans from both communities turned up in numbers at Bassa Mini Stadium to cheer their players at a full-capacity stadium. Within 7 minutes of the first half, Manju FC got a free kick after their player was brought down on the edge of the 18-yard box. Mansur Sumundu from Manju FC brilliantly coiled the free kick, securing the first goal to the delight of the fans. Within 7 minutes of the start of the second half, Ajit Trawale of Gambisara United capitalized on a defensive error by Manju FC after a corner kick to level the scores. There were no further goals and the match ended in a 1-all draw. The two talents who scored for their side spoke to us after the match. To be honest, the match was interesting and difficult. Both teams performed very well. The match ended in a draw. We now await the referee and committee's decision either to replay or to take penalty kicks. At the training ground, my trainers trained me on how to take free kicks. If I place the ball, I know where to put it. If it penetrates the wall, no doubt, nothing will stop that ball from going into the net. I thank Allah for seeing us through. It was a difficult encounter against our opponents. I got the chance from a corner kick. With the help of God, I was able to convert it to a goal. I believe if the match is repeated with the support from the fans and the will of God, we will surely qualify for the finals. Due to darkness, the committee adjourned the match to Tuesday to determine a winner. Reporting for QTV News, I am Alaji A.F. Jallo.
Well, we look forward to the outcome in that exciting encounter, and we still stay with our colleague Alaji A.F. Jallo on the Q Group sponsored football tournament in Basse. The second game saw Gambana book their ticket in the final after defeating Alumhare FC.
The second game in the semi-finals of the Q Group sponsored football tournament was a very interesting and entertaining one. On Sunday, the second team from Gambisara, known as Gambana, secured their first place in the final after a 2-1 victory over Alumhare United. The match was fiercely contested, but the Alumhare side could not contain the Gambana boys, whose number 7, Mohamed Sidibe, scored an early goal, finding the net just 3 minutes into the first half. After a well-contested first half, it was Gambana's goal scorer, Mohamed Sidibe, who doubled their lead, once again scoring early in the half, netting the second goal within 3 minutes of the second half. After playing for 90 minutes, Usman Sidibe of Alumhare scored a consolation goal in the time added on at the end of the second half. We wanted to speak to both goal scorers, but after the match ended, the defeated team left the field. However, we were able to speak to two goal scorer, Usman Sidibe of Gambana. Football is all about training, and we prepared ourselves well for this match, knowing full well our dark opponents are a good side. We took over the game in the second half, and by studying their tactics, we managed to counter them and contain the game. The support from our fans was tremendous. Now, we have made it to the final. Our target is to lift the trophy. Now that the second team from Gambisara has secured their place in the final, we wait to see who they will face after the replay match between Manju FC and Gambisara United. That first semi-final had ended in a 1-all draw. Reporting for QTV News, I am Alaji A.F. Jallo.
Well, congratulations to Gambana, and we'll continue to bring you updates on the Q Group sponsored football tournament in Basse. And I'm afraid that's all about it for this bulletin, but before we take a leave of you, here's a recap for our main headlines. A team from the International Monetary Fund currently in the country organized a joint press briefing with the Ministry of Finance and the Central Bank of the Gambia to discuss the Gambia's economic program for the year 2022. And the Ministry of Health and stakeholders on Tuesday met for the selection and development of a health benefit package for the implementation of the Gambia's National Health Insurance Scheme. World Animal Day, observed annually on October 4th to raise awareness about animal welfare, was celebrated by the Gambia Horse and Donkey Trust and other animal welfare partners. The Kofi Annan International Peacekeeping Training Center and the Gambia Police Force on Friday concluded training for the Criminal Justice Executives course. And in sports news, the Q Group sponsored football tournament in Basse District has reached the semi-finals, and we brought you results from the two matches. That's it for this edition. Do join us at 10 p.m. for more news.